Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be planting tomatoes. Yeah, I'm going to be planting some Moskovich Heirloom tomatoes, and I'm also going to be doing some chocolate cherry tomatoes. Now both of these are indeterminate tomatoes. I will talk to you more about indeterminate tomatoes if you're not familiar with it. And I'm also going to be talking about the containers that I'm going to be planting them in, as well as mixing up some organic dirt. So don't go away.
Looking for a reason, driven by the heart, fighting for a season, with sadness fall apart.
Okay, so I pre-mixed this already, but in here I have 2 blocks of coconut coir. This is going to help with retaining moisture in my soil. I added some vermiculite, which will also add moisture to the soil, but it also adds a lot of other nutrients. And so all this are going to be equal parts. And then I added some perlite for aeration. Now the vermiculite will kind of add aeration, but it typically is more used for just adding moisture into your soil. Now the coconut coir, the vermiculite, and the perlite all are pH neutral. So I added some chicken manure to this along with their bedding, because that is going to bring in the nitrogen that will feed the plants and make them nice and healthy. So you want to do it equal parts. And so the reason why I am mixing all these up like this is because now I'm going to be adding the soil, and this way it's all nice and mixed. Now I typically use fish fertilizer, but I have chicken manure, so why not use it? And it's excellent for vegetable gardening. So now I'm just going to add some dirt and mix this all up, and then start putting it in my containers. Now I'm just using topsoil. So I'm just using this topsoil. Okay, you guys, I have my whole mixture all mixed in here. I've got it to the right consistency as far as moisture goes. And so what I have in here is vermiculite, perlite, coconut coir, chicken manure, and let's see, oh, and wood chips. And of course, this has a bunch of organic matter because I have topsoil and garden soil as well in here that also has a lot to offer. Now, the reason for me mixing my own mix is because the vermiculite and the perlite and the coconut coir, they're all pH balanced. The chicken manure will bring in all the nitrogen that this plant, or my lettuce or beets or whatever else that I'm going to be planting, is going to need for it to really get all the nutrients that it needs. So now that I have everything in here, oh, and the other thing I added here was also sand, and that's just more for aeration. This is the consistency of moisture that you want for your dirt. You want it where it breaks apart, but when you squeeze it, you're not squeezing any water out of it. Now, the reason why you want to plant any starters that you get out of a nursery is because if you bring them home and you're already consistently watering it, they're used to a certain amount of moisture already. So by introducing them to soil that already has that same environment, it's going to be a very easy transition for them. And they're going to thrive so much better than if you shock them by putting them into dry soil and then give them a big drink of water. It's going to shock them. And chances of them surviving would be less than introducing them to good, already moist soil. So that is the reason why I'm doing it this way. Now, I'm going to be using these felt bags. I have it folded down, but they're 20 gallons a piece. Now, to do indeterminate tomatoes, you really need at least 20 gallons. They will grow within 10 to 15 gallons of dirt. However, indeterminate tomatoes need a lot of room for the root system to grow and be able to collect all the nutrients that it needs without feeling crowded, so that it can produce really good tomatoes. So that is why using 20-gallon containers are really good for that. Now, I got 5 of these. It was a package of 5 on Amazon for like I think $24. This is not a paid advertisement for this. I just simply am sharing what I'm using. But yeah, I'm going to be using this. So my whole yard doesn't get a lot of sunlight. So I'm going to have to move my tomato plants around. This way it can get all the right light that it needs for it to thrive and grow. And so to do that, I needed to get a caddy for them. These caddies are really good because these ones, expand. So you can put like a 10-gallon container in here all the way to 28 gallons, and the wheels lock. So this will be really easy for me to roll around and transport them around as I need to. Now I'm adding a little stick in between it, and the reason for that is because these are cloth, and once I add all the dirt into this, it's going to slump in the center, otherwise it's going to be a little harder for me to roll it around. So by adding that little brace in the center will help with some of that slump. So with that, if you guys have any questions, leave it in the comments below, but let's fill this up with dirt and get these tomatoes planted. Okay, now both of my bags are filled, and the reason why I have them folded over is because once I plant these and as they grow, I will be able to lift this up further and add more dirt. So I'm gonna do the what is this? So I'm gonna do the Moskovich tomato first. The root system looks really good. I'm going to cut off any of these little starters because you see that really hairy fibers here, and you'll get some more up here. I'm going to be clipping these off. So I'm going to clip this all the way up because all these nodes here are going to shoot out new root system. So I'm going to bury it way up here. Now, whenever you're using nippers, make sure that they're well sanitized and that you are not using nippers that you've used in other plants, because you don't want to cross-contaminate your plants at all. So, I'm going to bury it all the way to the very top here. Same thing with the cherry tomato. I'm going to take off any of the lower leaves. If you can pinch them off with your finger, that's great. If you can't, use the nipper, because you don't want to disrupt the stalk or rip by ripping it. And this one here, I'm gonna take that one off, show you. This one has much less little hair fibers on it, but it'll shoot out some root systems in all these nodes here. So I'm gonna bury it down to here. And if you notice, the dirt on this is nice and moist. When it's nice and moist and you're introducing it to moist soil, it's an easy transition already. So there you guys have it. Now, the one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a couple marigolds, because marigolds will bring in pollinators, and it'll also help feed the tomato, as well as maybe a couple of chives, because they're not really deep-rooted plants, and they will do really well because they will keep pests away. Now there's quite a few in each one of them. I'm just going to add and separate a couple of them, because I don't want the tomatoes to compete for roots. I'm just going to add one right here. And just so that the pollinators can come and feed these tomatoes, and just for a little bit of color, I'm going to add a marigold or two to the very front. That'll be nice and pretty. And by adding moist soil already in here, I don't have to water it. So, there you have it, you guys. That's how you do your tomatoes, your indeterminate tomatoes, that is. Oh, before I go, let me do one more thing. So one thing that you can also add to your tomatoes and your plants, just add a little bit of hay to it, or in this, it'll protect the plants from any bugs and getting into the soil and being wet. It'll help with retaining the moisture, especially because these are bags, so they will dry out a lot faster than if they were in the ground or in a raised garden where it has a lot more dirt. This you can pick up for free at any feed store, and a lot of times when they bring in a bale of hay, a lot of times they have a pile out in their yard, and it's just going to waste. So always ask to see if you can take some home. I go grab a bag full, and it doesn't cost me a dime, other than for gas to get there. And you don't need a whole lot, you know. Okay, so there you go. It looks nice and pretty. And anybody can do this. Now, as everything grows, I can pick this up and add more dirt. Even if I added dirt above this, it's not going to matter because this is all going to break down anyway. But this will keep critters like rats or squirrels or any kind of little critters that want to get in here because of the chicken manure or the fruit. This will kind of help deter that. So that's something that you can think about doing. But it also looks really pretty, and everything will look really nice as it gets bigger and more abundant. So you guys, don't forget to get up, get out, get active. Make yourself a little garden in a 20-gallon container that you can roll around. So with that, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you when I see you on my next video. Mwah! Love you as always, and bye-bye for now.